Hi guys, welcome back to rom.com, where I'm dedicated to giving you in-depth film reviews on romantic comedies and sharing my own opinion on the matter, as well as hearing what you have to say down in the comments. I would love to hear any of your opinions or views on the movies that I am watching and reviewing. So with that, let's get started. So this week I reviewed Hope Springs. It was released in 2003. Its director is Mark Herman, and it stars Colin Firth, Minnie Driver, and Heather Graham. You might know all these actors and actresses from different other movies, not just romantic comedies, but like more comedy movies. So for Colin Firth, you might know him from Mamma Mia, if there's any Mamma Mia fans out there. You might also know him from Love Actually and Bridget Jones' Diary. I believe that I put a couple of them on previous watch guides, so if you want to check to see where you can find those movies, then check out my website. The link is in my channel, and it's also on my Instagram. Minnie Driver, she's kind of a cute actress, but yeah, so you might know her from Ella Enchanted with Anne Hathaway. You might also know her from Return to Me, which is maybe like a less known of a romantic comedy, but maybe check it out if you like her. And also Good Will Hunting, which is a movie with Robin Williams and Matt Damon, which I heard is highly recommended. So that's another film if you want to watch more of Minnie Driver. And then finally, Heather Graham. She is more known for comedy movies, so like Austin Powers and The Hangover, both amazing series of the movies. If you want to check those out, I definitely recommend. They definitely are very funny. So yeah. So to begin with the movie, this is definitely different. It's definitely a different one than the past couple ones I've been reviewing, where it's more so like enemies to lovers or like friends to lovers, kind of like those different, like I guess you could say like tropes. So anyways, so basically the movie follows Colin Firth's character, which funny enough is also named Colin. So we follow Colin as he kind of travels into this new town called Hope Springs. And one of the first scenes we see him kind of like interacting with the people of the town is when he goes into the general store, which says it's open, but it's actually locked. And so it's like this kind of like awkward like interaction of like trying to jostle the door and it's locked, and then like the lady, like it's run by this really cute old couple, but like she has that like annoyed face on. She's like, oh, of course you have to come into the general store. So she unlocks the door and he's like browsing through the shop, and like eventually he's making conversation with them, but he's like acting kind of weird and kind of strange, and we're, as the spectator, you're just kind of like, so what's going on? Like, what's happening? So there's that. But then we see when he interacts with the people, like they're asking all these questions, like, where are you from? Because he's like an outsider and this is like a small town. So they're very like inquisitive, and he's just like, no reason, like it's not your business, like, you know. But it is very like, it's a very I'd say more comedic route of the film. So yeah, and it's hard to explain, it's hard to describe, because like different people have different levels of comedy. So it's really up to your interpretation, but like in my mind, it was just a very funny scene of him like reacting, and like this old couple like being very skeptical of him, and him acting strange. So anyways, but they give him directions on where to stay in the town, so he goes there after, and it's this kind of like a B&B, like an inn. It's an inn. So he's kind of there, and like the it's a very small town, like, you know, it's a small town, so you have like the small town people, so like the inn manager or co-manager, she's very like, you know, like, oh, what brings you to town, blah blah blah. And he ends up like, he's like, I just don't feel good. And there's this one scene where she's like on the phone like talking to a customer, and he's like about to walk out to go to his like his room, and he didn't even open the door, and he's like hitting his head because he's just very emotional. And actually, I forgot to mention, but at this point we like start to know more about him, like why he's here. So like it obviously is because of a girl who allegedly broke his heart. I guess that's what we have to, like, that's the information we kind of gathered to like imply about what's going on. So you have that, and then so she's just like, okay, like she's on the phone, she's like, I'm gonna have to call you back, I have a situation. So it's like, it's just very strange. It's a very strange opening, and it gets a little bit stranger when we meet the second main character. Well, it's not like, not the main character, but like one of the love interests, which is Heather Graham's character, Mandy. And basically she's kind of like the therapist of the town, but she kind of isn't. Like, her methods are very, very like, she's just like, she wants to be a therapist, but she does not do a good job of doing so. Like, there's one scene where they actually go out on the town because she wants to like cheer him up and like show him something like beautiful about the town, and they're in the car, and then she just starts like, acting out. It's just really weird. So anyways, they ended up like going back to Colin's apartment, and it's a very strange opening, I would say, to the movie. But there's some comedy in it, but it's definitely like, it's more, I guess, comedy, and like just, it's very weird. I'm not gonna describe it, but like, it's, again, it's appropriate. It's like not like rated R, but like I don't know. I was sitting there, I was like, okay, like, yeah. But anyways, so moving on. So even though it kind of has like, they have a strange way of like connecting at the beginning, like it's not like the natural way you usually like meet a person. I would not say it's like a meet cute, but anyways, so they end up like, she kind of like ends up like cheering him up more, showing him more of the town, getting him more acclimated to the people, and basically the reason that Colin's kind of there and kind of stays there is because he's an artist. He draws portraits, so his way of like coping with his past of like, you know, which we're shown that like in his past, like this girl like hurt him basically because she was gonna get married to this other guy when she was engaged to him. So it's a really weird backstory. But anyway, so he decides to take his mind off of it by drawing the people of the town, which I think is kind of sweet, and he's a really good drawer. Not the point, I'm getting off track. But basically, so she shows him, so Mandy shows Colin like the town and introduces him to different people, and he draws their portrait, and his ultimate goal is to create a show that displays the different portraits of the people of the town. So they end up getting closer and closer, and they start to, I mean, they already liked each other, but like they start to actually like build a relationship, and it's very, very passionate. I'm just gonna say that, it's very passionate. But they do have like a cute little thing going on, and you can see that they complement each other. Like she kind of brings out the fun side of him, and they kind of just talk through everything. So there's that, and then obviously you're gonna have the conflict, which comes later in the film. But basically the woman who hurt Colin basically shows up. Her name is Vera, and she is definitely a character. She's definitely a character. Like, they all have their own different weird, but yeah, like strong personalities, but she's definitely a character. She comes in and we end up finding some information that like kind of turns the whole like movie like into like, okay. And so basically this affects the relationship between Mandy and Colin and Vera. And so you just kind of have like this, I wouldn't even call it a love triangle. It's just like Colin and Mandy, and then Vera trying to get Colin back, and like Mandy is like kind of like very, she doesn't trust that like Colin is gonna stick with her kind of thing, which is kind of what creates the whole conflict. But we see like these different scenes where they kind of like, it's like female v female, like showing who's better, like, and who Colin likes more. But it's like, it's not even like that. Like, Colin is very much interested in Mandy and not interested at all in Vera. But anyways, so there's that conflict that like we kind of see. But the ending, I mean, all endings in romantic comedies are my favorite, but like this ending is, it definitely like, it was such a heartfelt scene. Like, it was very like, so that was definitely something that I would 100% recommend watching the movie for. I'm not even gonna touch on it because I think it's something that like people have to find out for themselves. So you can definitely check it out. If you really, really love romantic comedy endings, this is definitely a great example of it. But anyways, so yeah. So that's all I got for the movie. I definitely would give it a good rating, but there is definitely some like strangers. It's definitely not like one of your average typical run-of-the-mill romantic comedies where it's like boy meets girl, boy and girl like, you know, fall in love in this way, and then, you know, conflict, and then, you know, ending. They all have these like characters that have so many layers to them, unexpected layers definitely, that it kind of plays with your emotions, but in a good and more in a good sense. I was gonna say good and bad, but it's definitely more of a good sense. So yeah, I would definitely check it out. And as always, thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like, and also comment. I highly emphasize commenting on the videos with any reactions, any opinions, any feedback, basically anything you want to see more of, want to see less of. If you want me to do any like events, or like just in general, if like you're like, oh my gosh, I love this actor, I love this actress, I mean, do whatever you may, but that's just, I highly recommend. I would love to see what you guys have to say. So anyways, with that, also make sure to check out my Instagram channel and my website, rom.com film blog, where you'll find all the watch guides, where to watch Hope Springs and other romantic comedies. And also on my Instagram, it's kind of where you can stay updated. I post a lot there, so you can, if you definitely want to stay in the loop, that is definitely the main way to go about that. And both links are in my channel, so make sure to check that out. So yeah, thank you again, and see you in the next video.